What's up, everybody? We'll get started here in just a moment. It is 17:30 UTC on the 3rd of January. It's our first show of the entire new year, so I know I'm excited about that. Let me bring in Christine on up here. And of course today, there's Crypt Keeper. Bring you on up. Of course, today being the first time we've met in 2022, we're going to talk about a few predictions, a few little wonder what's going to happen in 2022. And I'm using an article as a template. Matter of fact, let me see if I can put it here in the nest.
Hey, Chris.
Hello.
Quick question. Did you see? Are you listening to that? Well, was you listening to that space about the Bored Apes?
No, I was not. Can you update us?
Let's hear it.
Bro, they're talking about that there's a lot of traits in the Bored Ape artwork that are racist. It's going crazy right now. There's like 600 people in that space.
Wait, what do you mean that's racist?
That's what they're saying. I was just in it.
But can you give like an example of one of the traits?
I jumped out of it as soon as they was about to start talking about it and jumped in here.
Well, you made a good decision there.
So the topic is the BAYC racism debate.
Wow. So are they trying to cancel Bored Ape Yacht Club?
I have no idea, but there's a lot of people in there talking about, like, a lot of verified people also.
Maybe Ryan can come on here at some point in here and give us the scoop.
Oh, I see 900 people in there, huh?
Yeah, it's going crazy.
Interesting. Do you guys think that will affect its floor price?
Me personally, I don't know, man. At this point,
so.
At this point, it's already too far gone. Like, people already spent millions of dollars on this. Why would they why would they even look at it as racism? Like, if that's the case, there's so many ape projects. Why aren't we looking at all of them then?
It sounds like people are trying to FUD something to like have a great entry into a project.
Right. Well, and whatever is racist now was racist last week, right? If it indeed was racist, but
exactly,
no one was saying anything then.
Exactly. So I don't know who came up with this, but I know the person that's verified. I mean, the person that's talking about it is actually verified. I forgot his name though.
Interesting.
Well, we have Ryan in here.
I was about to say, we do have Ryan now.
Maybe he could, embellish or let us know about this.
Yes, Ryan, please.
Ryan, have you heard what we were speaking of? You just came on.
I missed it. All I heard was something being racist before. It's racist now. That's all I got.
Right. Apparently, there's a 900-member space right now saying that the Bored Apes have racist traits or attributes.
Yeah, it's saying the BAYC racism debate.
Yeah, it's going live right now, Ryan, in another spaces, and I guess they're calling some of the traits racist, which I think is ridiculous. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't see it, but I guess people are entitled to their opinion, and things can be interpreted in lots of different ways. I don't see it.
That's a very measured response, Ryan. That's a really good response. Seriously,
that's a lot of years of experience there, crafted.
But you know what it is for me? It's like I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't look too deep into artwork, like to find racism in the artwork. I guess that's just me. Maybe other people do, but I don't do it.
I mean, there definitely could be such a thing as like racist artwork. And there's been things before that, we look at it years later and we realized, okay, a lot of things in Disney, you look at it years later and you're thinking, man, what were they thinking? That sort of thing. So I understand that perspectives can change over the years, but Bored Apes, it's not like they were around in the 60s or something and we've had a cultural shift.
Yeah, I don't agree with that sentiment of saying like the Bored Ape Yacht Club has racist traits. I've always looked at all the Bored Ape Yacht Clubs and I love the artwork. I think it's a great project, whatever. But when I do see I do feel like people, it's like, when they say it's how you perceive, like everyone perceives artwork. And if they decide to see something that others don't see, they're going to bring it up,
Well, I would like to point out that about a month ago, there was some bud going around that the Bored Ape logo was a derivative of like the Nazi logo.
I didn't hear that. That's new.
Yeah, it was about a month ago. It didn't last long, but there were some memes about it where they started, people started memeing Apple stole their logo from or some shit like that.
Very odd. Yeah, that's crazy stuff. But yeah, sounds like yeah, maybe we'll have the rundown of what they discussed in there. And I'm glad I'm in here anyway, because I think our conversation can be a little more fruitful than what theirs is over there. But if you see at the top here, I put in the nest here just a CoinDesk article of 21 predictions for crypto and beyond for 2022. And I'll admit, I didn't know some of these were a trend in 2021. I'm going to start with the first one that I didn't know about. So I'm going to go to some of you that may have been here in Twitter and knew it a little bit more. Tungsten cubes. Someone educate me on tungsten cubes if you know anything about it.
It's like a paperweight, basically. The metal is like very dense, and so it's this tiny little thing. It weighs like way more than you think it would weigh. It's really, basically completely useless other than a paperweight, and it looks cool. But there's a company out in like Arizona or Utah or something that makes them, and it's memeish, but there's no like real world application to the stuff.
Okay, so I read a quick article on it, and it said that exactly what you just said. It's just these cool, very dense cubes. But it said it took crypto Twitter by storm in 2021, and I don't recall that. But anyway, it said that the prediction for 2022 in tungsten cubes is that that it's gonna crash. The tungsten cubes will collapse. So I didn't know that they were that pumped up to collapse, but they do sound cool. And once I read the article, I thought, well, maybe I do want one.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're cool, and I guess what made them, popular or whatever is just because, I mean, last year was like the year of just summing up anything that was the mainstream, whatever. And I guess that was just another thing, that was it's functions in a way that it appear like it's not supposed to. And that's I mean, it's just me. I mean, I mean, crash. I don't know how relative that term is, but I imagine those guys got some really good premium for making them as their demand increase. But yeah, that's probably fair. I mean, I wouldn't invest any money in it.
Well, I don't know how much it is. If it was, it's one of those things where if like I was at the mall and I saw a kiosk and it had something cool like that, maybe I'd go for it. But yeah, one thing I didn't realize is that somehow it was tied into crypto Twitter, which is okay. That's cool. If everybody wants to deem something in real life is cool, then sure, I'm in. I can do it. So a lot of the other predictions on it, which I'd love to get you guys talk, and one of them is huge. I feel like right off the top of that article that I had put was ETH2 arriving. How do you guys really think that's going to happen in 2022? I know it would be earth-shattering if it did, but are we really that close to see it in the next 12 months?
Yeah, it's supposed to come around April.
Man, that would be. I mean, what would that do to some of the other chains that kind of hang their hat on low gas fees, right? And that's what they say is so great about their chain. And then, if Ethereum can then have its low gas fees as well, that would really change people's perception of Ethereum, I think, and the detractors that say it's too high of gas.
I think that's when we'll see it. I agree with this group. I was hearing that it was going to be around like April or May, but that's the only thing they, like what you said, they hang their hat on is like, oh, well, ETH, their gas fees are so high and ours isn't. Like, come over this way. Once that's gone, I think that's when we see that zoom, like ETH to 10,000 this year.
Well, I remember we had, we all kind of picked what potential Ethereum prices could be in this next year. And yeah, many of you that thought it will happen in 2022 or April or whenever picked pretty high numbers. And I agree. If it comes out, it'll be pretty high numbers. At some point, do you think past it, let's say they don't meet the April goal, do you think that makes the Ethereum price start going down a bit just because they're like not delivering on the goals?
No, I feel like because ETH is used on the regular, especially in the NFT space, right? Like OpenSea is like the king of NFTs. I think because there's so much traffic and people that are already involved in NFTs, we're all hoping that they deliver, but I think it doesn't change. I think it holds pretty well where it's at right now. I think around the 4 is where it'll stay until they deliver.
Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, so I'm going to date myself a little bit here. Ethereum is VHS. Everything else is Betamax.
Your reference isn't lost on me. Yeah, I am old enough to remember when I'd go to the video store to actually rent, and I was a kid when this would happen, but there would literally be two different sections of Betamax and VHS, and VHS, as we know, won. So I think that's a good way to say it. But you're hoping it's not Hotmail to everyone else's Gmail, right?
Yeah, I mean, they've pushed the Ethereum 2.0 back a few times, but the thing is, even with its high cost, Ethereum processes more transactions per second than Visa. It would be like someone trying to launch a search engine like Bing and compete with Google. We've seen how that works out. It's the critical mass is there. The network would have to collapse on itself for someone to come overtake Ethereum. And I do think once Ethereum 2.0 is upgraded and in place, the rest of these Ethereum competitors, Ethereum killers, I mean, they're going to be severely overvalued. And I think it's just a matter of time for that to happen.
Yeah, that's what I think as far as market movement. If Ethereum 2.0 does come out, I think you probably will see, Polygon or something like that take a hit while Ethereum soars, because that's a little bit of what they pound their chest about is low gas fees. So if that's the case, then yeah, we could see Ethereum become an absolute just dominant in the space. I mean, they I don't know that they could ever go down. The only reason you could tackle Ethereum right now would be because of gas, or because they just never can deliver Ethereum 2. But if ETH2 makes it, and I like the sound of April, I think that would be great. But as you've said, they've delayed it many times before, and if they were to delay it until October or something like that, I would not even the least bit surprised. But it sounds like we're all in agreement that that would be huge, and like industry shaking type of a move. So a few other things that I saw in here as well that I thought was interesting, and Christine, I'll go to you a little bit, even though you're more in the OTCs. But it says stocks keep going up, but more slowly. It says Goldman Sachs predicts a 9% rise in the S&P 500. Not as much as this year when the S&P 500 went up 27%, but still 9% would still be healthy. You guys that are in stocks heavy, are you feeling that? You thinking that'll happen?
I think it will. And I was a lot heavier in OTC, and like towards the end of the year I started getting into big boards more. And I don't think we'll have, like what you said, I don't think we'll have a run like we did last year. But I did see articles as well that disagreed with that opinion. I don't know if you saw that. I'm going to try to find it right now.
Yeah, if you can. And to what degree did they think it would be bigger than 9%, or did they think it would be like a bearish year?
Bearish year.
Ooh.
And Ryan and Scroops is in stocks as well. What do you guys think for this year? Do you guys see it being a pretty bullish year, and agree with that opinion? Or do you guys think we're heading into bearish?
I think it's going to be a bit bearish, somewhat flatline, primarily with two facets. One, there's still that correction from the massive jump as noted in 2020, as well as a lot of money being moved out. I think a lot of retail traders as cryptocurrency has started to prove itself more, and with the staking and gains, more retail traders are going to start to move their money, or have started to money towards cryptocurrency as a gamble versus stocks. So I think I could see it being pretty bearish or flatline.
So do you think, Scrupula, that from what you just said, you said you thought a lot of money might be moving from stocks into crypto, and because maybe the gains could potentially be better in crypto. Do you think at the end of 2022, basically at this time next year, the total crypto market cap will go up over that time then?
Yeah, I think a lot of, and Ryan could attest to this probably, or chime in, but I think a lot of the institutions are going to hedge their portfolios with those that want a higher risk management to offset their crypto and venture into the cryptocurrency, because that's what a lot of people want, is to have that, and then offset it with some stable plays in the actual overall market, the big boards. So we know like big boards move kind of slow, and that'll be used to hedge against their volatile crypto stocks or crypto coins.
You know what I have seen too? I don't know if you guys have saw it as well. There's been a lot of advertisement on, people like, do IRA, like this way, like, and it's a better bet for you, and you could retire and this and that, and they're like, and we could take it out of your paychecks, and it's crypto retirement and crypto IRAs. Have you guys been seeing that? I've been seeing that a lot lately.
Yeah, a lot of them are starting to go on that whole buy mentality, where you basically stake an asset, especially in crypto, and then you borrow against that asset, and then you use those funds to basically pay for everything. Almost like back in the day when you would, or even still now, buy property, house, and then leverage off of that, so that way you don't pay the capital gains tax off of the appreciating factor.
Ryan just posted something that was similar to what you were saying right now, and he was talking about how buying a Bored Ape example was he was using it in that analogy. Ryan, can you kind of delve into that a little bit more on your post? And he was saying like you don't have to pay maintenance fees and this and that, like just
I love
basically,
to hear
yeah.
Yeah, well, someone was talking about if you have an ape. Well, actually, I think they said if you have a picture of a monkey and you don't have a house, maybe you should sell the monkey and buy a house. And if maybe you're later in years and you don't have a house, maybe that's something you would do, and have security, have a paid for house, whatever. If you're not later on in your years, the idea that you would sell something, an asset like a monkey, like a Bored Ape, that potentially is going to throw off cash every year. I mean, if you just look at the value that if you bought a Bored Ape, anytime before the Mutant Ape drop, you made $90,000 off of your ape. So it's like an annuity. It's like a pretty fat dividend. And I look at my investment in that Bored Ape like I do any asset really. What am I getting out of it, and what do I have to put into it? There's no maintenance fees. There's no insurance costs. There's no margin fees. There's no interest. There's no annual property taxes. So comparing that asset to something like a home, really, particularly if you look at the value of houses currently, they're probably overvalued. But on the other hand, interest rates are very low. So if you can buy a house at less than 2.5%, 3% on your loan, you're probably winning there just because of the value of inflation is going to be much higher. So kind of circling back to the question about where I see stocks this year. There's an interesting thing about when you look at the market, people generally think about QQQ or SPY, right, or maybe the Dow. Those indexes are not equally weighted. There are, a select number of stocks that make up a very large percentage of those indexes. So when Apple and Tesla are very green, SPY can be green, even though 800 securities can be red. It's not equally weighted. I think if we continue to have inflation, which I think we all probably agree with, there's definitely inflation.
Sure.
The Fed's going to job on about raising interest rates. But the reality is they can't really raise interest rates in a meaningful manner. And I've talked about this a little bit. The debt we have is so large. The only way that the government can pay it is by increasing the money supply and reducing the value of the current dollars that are owed. Okay. That's just a mathematical certainty. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. People can say whatever they want. It's impossible for us to pay down our debt. The only way we can come out of it is to devalue our currency, which we've been doing for 100 years anyways, and we've been doing for that reason. Okay. So all that aside, we're going to have 3 rate hikes next year. Your high value tech stocks are going to take a hit. Your companies that throw off cash, like Apple, they're going to do really well. So I think the big indexes are going to be fine. There will be individual stocks that are overvalued in a higher interest rate environment that will take hits. But your main stocks like your blue chips like Apple, Nvidia, they're not going anywhere. These highly speculative companies that aren't turning a profit, they're going to take hits. So kind of what's I'm probably leaning towards Scribbler's take. I think it's going to be sideways. I think we'll finish the year green from where we are now, but I don't think we're going to be up 9%.
Very interesting, and I love the thought process you have there of what may go up and what may go down. You're saying you think a lot of the blue chip stocks may indeed go up, but the other things might go down. Well, another one of the predictions on here, and I think I know what everybody's going to answer on here because you guys aren't in the altcoin market as much as I am. So one of the predictions it has on that article I posted up top is meme coins wipe out. Okay, is 2022 the year we see all these crazy meme coins, whatever dog-oriented token that got out there, finally the bottom gets pulled out, whether it's rug pulled or not. Is it going to be a big altcoin just nosedive in 2022?
I don't know.
Oh, well,
I'd probably say no, but there'd be less of them.
I think, okay, so you think, it sounds like you're saying, yes, that may be true to some level, but there will you're saying meme coins aren't just going to go away. It's just going to be, instead of tens of thousands of them, maybe just thousands of them.
Yeah, because there's always people who want to gamble.
That's my thought on this. Is there's always somebody that's looking to make a play. And since like, I don't need to tell y'all this. The internet loves memes, right? We like just fun stuff, and that's not going away. I saw. This is no political stance here, but I saw over the weekend that a "Let's Go Brandon" coin was being used to be sponsoring a NASCAR driver whose name is Brandon. And so it's probably going to make that pump for a little bit, and then it'll dump afterwards, and the cycle will go on, and there will be some other political affiliated coin that'll pick the other side of the aisle there. But point is, there's always going to be like a talking point that we're all talking about, whether it be politics or movies or whatever, dogs. And I think there's always going to be a place for that in the meme coin world. Now, I'm not saying they're going to be long-standing projects like Shiba Inu is that's a unicorn. That doesn't happen very often, that something becomes a very long-term standing project. But for the most part, meme coins that'll have a cycle of pumping up to 1000x and going down to 0, I think that'll keep on going.
How about Doge? I feel like Elon, didn't he hire like a tech team or something to work on it? And he's testing it with his merchandise, his Tesla merchandise that you could buy with Doge. Like, he's pretty pressed on it becoming the altcoin that becomes like a stable coin for transactional use.
Man, a guy like that, he could absolutely make Doge be a legit, and to me, Doge is already in the legit conversation. But, everybody was going to say it was going to go all the way to $1 for the longest time. And I don't know that it ever will. But, it got up to 70 something cents at one point, and whatever it sits in now, I think the last I looked, it was in the 20s or something like that. A guy like Elon could absolutely make that thing pump up quite a bit if he gives it the use case of, buying merchandise off his site, and, others start to do the same thing. Doge, I don't think we've seen the end of the story from it.
Yeah, definitely. I think his goal is to make it $1 equivalent, so it could be used for daily transactions, and he's pretty pressed on it. Like, he doesn't let it go. I think he's testing the merch so he could eventually see where he can tweak things or whatever, because I know it's like open source contract, and then from there maybe switch it up to you can use Doge to buy his cars, and then I think a lot of companies will follow. I know that he's not a favorite for the people that are in crypto, but I do think that he has a lot of solutions to things. Instead of like whining about it, he makes things happen.
Is it a meme coin whenever the meme is no longer popular? Is it become just a coin then? Like, whenever, Billy and company made Dogecoin, right? And it was kind of funny that dog was seen as a meme fairly often during those. But now, not really. When you hear Doge, you think of the coin, right?
Yeah.
There's no meme that you really think of. It seems to be now it's more of a coin in and of itself rather than a meme coin, because the meme has lived its life cycle. There was like a Success Kid, if you know the Success Kid meme. If there's a Success Kid coin, I don't see that meme as much as I did, 5-10 years ago now. So I guess what I'm saying on meme coins is maybe they will live their life through, and the ones that can even succeed after the meme is no longer a thing anymore, that's the ones that can survive. And I'd say Doge has done that.
Yeah, you're right. Because, we would see, and the community would meme the heck out of Doge, and you don't see that anymore. It's just actually serious conversations when it comes to Doge now, and no one's like throwing out any memes anymore. And it's kind of outlived its meme cycle into I guess it would be this considered a more stable coin in the alt coins department. Would it even still be considered altcoin, Doge?
I don't consider. I don't know. I'd love to hear anybody else's thought there. I don't think it's an altcoin anymore.
So it kind of depends on the definition of altcoin. Is it, in a sense, a major because it's reached X market cap? Is it where it stands in the top 25 or top 10? I think there's a lot of different definitions in the sense of altcoins. And to me, altcoins are just something that are not basically Bitcoin or Ethereum, because those have, in a sense, the highest case or the highest, reach, because most people are investing in Bitcoin to, in a sense, hold, and using Ethereum to either buy NFTs or do other transactions. Whereas I still feel like Solana or Avalanche or these coins, which are in the top 10, I would still consider them altcoins because they haven't reached that mass kind of circle where Bitcoin and Ethereum have. But that's just my take on how I define alts.
Yeah, I think you're right. There's a lot of different ways you could define it. And you said two of them that I've kind of thought, as you said, by market cap or by looking at, the top 25 at coin market cap or something like that. Both of those perfectly good ways to look at it. And that's the way I kind of look at it. To me, if you're in the top 25, you're no longer an altcoin. It reminds me of music. So again, I've told y'all before, I'm old. And I grew up whenever Nirvana was popular. And they would be you could hear them on what station? The alternative station, right? For alternative music. And there's the most popular music in the entire country at times was alternative music. So, is it even alternative anymore if it's the primary, thing you're listening to, or in this case, thing that you're buying, thing you're investing in? And yeah, same thing, even though it may have an altcoin name to it, by my definition, and again, this is just the voice of DeFi's definition. It's not, nothing's official here, but by my definition, you're no longer an altcoin once you're in the top 25 of CoinMarketCap. That's where everybody wants to get to. Everybody dreams of being in the top 25 of CoinMarketCap, and once you've achieved that goal, you're now mainstream, man. You're where everybody wants to be, and you're no longer an altcoin. Certainly, you'll have nobody calling you a shitcoin at that point, which sometimes altcoin is just used interchangeably there. But yeah, I think it completely matters on your definition, and probably if we asked all of us in here, we would have a different definition of what an altcoin is.
Yeah, I agree. And altcoin season, I think that's forever. Like, you see the runs of altcoins, and I think that's going to go away. And it's so easy for people to, the good and the bad thing about it, right, is it's so easy for a team of people to create a coin or token, either for the good or sometimes for the bad. But I think it'll never stop. And people, and what you said, Voice of DeFi, is like you trade heavily in altcoins. And I know a lot of people that do. It's almost like the OTCs, right? In the stock
It's
market.
very, I feel like you and I are cut from the same cloth with your love for OTCs and my love for coins. It's just in a decentralized and in a centralized environment. But yeah, it's the opportunity that like penny stocks can give you for like outsized returns are the same thing that you can get in altcoin type of things. Now, the thing is with me is I will sell whenever it finally comes to time. But if I see a project and it's an altcoin and the developers are still going strong, the community is still going strong, I'll hold on to it for longer than I would a meme coin. I've had meme coins as well too. And sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. It's all about timing and when to get out and that sort of thing. But yeah, it's fun, much like the OTC market can be. So yeah, I enjoy that for sure. So talking about things that got really moving in 2021 that might get more attention and maybe even more regulatory attention in 2022. How about DAOs? Okay. Or I'm going to throw in stable coins as well. But DAOs for sure. Do you guys think that the government will have a problem with an organization being ran by a worldwide community of governance token holders rather than ran by a CEO, CFO, and CTO?
I don't think they will inherently have a problem with how it's ran. I think it's going to boil down to what's the definition of a security. And when you buy a DAO token, are you expecting a return on that as an investment? And if you are, it's a security, and it's going to fall under the purview of the SEC. Now, there's currently no regulation on that, but I would be willing to bet everything I have that eventually DAOs will be considered, tokens of DAOs will be considered securities. There's no way they can skirt around that. That's happening eventually. There's just no way around it.
Yeah, where I start to think that the government gets a little concerned is, if I register a business right now and I form a company and I have a CEO and everything, that we have to pay our fair share of taxes. We have to do, whatever regulatory type things that you need to do. A DAO could essentially work without even a physical address. There's a lot of things that regulatory wise, I don't know that the government could regulate on DAOs. And I think they have a big problem with that.
Well, to be fair, the DAO still, I mean, it's a legal entity. And currently, if you're in the United States, if I'm not mistaken, the only place you can form that entity is in Wyoming. I mean, it's still a legal entity. It's not, a made-up corporation. I mean, there is actually a document that gets filed with Wyoming that states what it is. There's an operating agreement. So, I mean, there are still responsible parties. Like, there's someone responsible for ensuring that taxes get paid and things like that. I mean, that's,
If they play by
the rules, which, hey, I mean, that's, who knows?
Well, right. And that's what I'm saying is that there undoubtedly will be some that don't. Okay. Maybe the majority will, maybe. But some will choose not to. And then if they don't and you own some governance token in that DAO, are you outside the law? I don't know. I'm not a regulator. But yeah, so that'll probably be something that's discussed a lot. The other thing that seems to be discussed a whole lot towards the end of the year is just a stable coin. And I'm talking Tether or USDC or the DAI, which is a decentralized stable coin. We all know that whenever the end of a bull cycle happens, you see whales, and I'm talking Bitcoin whales usually, although it could be other chains as well, move over their money from Bitcoin or whatever chain they have, whatever coin they have, to Tether or some other thing, let the market dip down, and then look for their moment to buy back in. And there's a question of, Tether can just print the money as they wish, it seems. And it seems to be a big tool of the whale to kind of move in and out of some of the currencies, particularly Bitcoin. That's going to have to get regulated, right? That's going to have to be something that the U.S. government deals with in 2022, I would think.
I agree. Shirag, were you going to add to that?
Yeah, I was thinking about, just because Luna is focusing on a stable coin of itself, right? And trying to understand how that kind of plays into it, because like, even if it gets regulated, that might actually be very beneficial, because then you can stake large sums of it and say, okay, I feel comfortable now. Yes, crypto's in a bear market, but this stable coin is not going to just disappear on me because I'm sitting here just staking it, waiting for my moment.
Yeah, I think regulation is good. I mean, as long as it's sensible, I think it adds legitimacy and removes risk and uncertainty. And I think overall, the big players in the crypto community have been asking the government to provide a more clear framework that they can operate in. I know the CEO of Coinbase is, he's taking some heat for some of his comments, but he's, look, we need to be regulated. This is a big industry, and if you don't have some clear framework to operate in, it could stifle innovation, and that's, allegedly, that's what crypto and the blockchain is all about. So, there needs to be a clear framework. So I think we'll see. I forget her name. There's some senator or congresswoman who allegedly is going to make a big proposal for blockchain crypto framework. I can't remember her name. I'll try to find it, but that's supposed to happen in Q1.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it too. I know what you're talking about, Ryan. I'll try to find it and post it up top.
Well, Ryan, you've been pretty consistent over the last few weeks in here saying that, like, regulation is good. We need regulation. And I tend to agree, because the other option might be they just say, that's it. It's all illegal. And we don't want that. So to me, sensible regulation, exactly what you just said, is desired. I think you have a lot of people that are willing to pay their fair share. They just need it to be simple, and they need to understand it. And simplicity and tax law never seem to go hand in hand, which I hate. But that's just kind of part of it. So the last thing on this list, and I'm bouncing around here, so just because this may not be the last thing I mention, but I'm seeing a few things on here, but I'm just going to read it word for word off this CoinDesk article, because I think it's funny. Facebook's metaverse eats absolute shit. That's what it says. It says early quarter reports on virtual reality sales and usage are either bad or heavily massaged. Then the company redefines what it means by metaverse in the same way it kept retreating on Libra, which was their coin they tried to put out. Hundreds of millions of dollars are wasted. And in retrospect, everyone agrees that the idea of a social network that you have to put on goggles to use was extremely stupid all along. That's not a lukewarm opinion. They're coming in hot there. Agree or disagree?
Well, I personally agree with some caveats. So the thing is, most people didn't talk about even use the term metaverse until Mark Zuckerberg changes the name of Facebook, right? And people had been building some version of that at least since 2017, and arguably since Second Life was launched. There have been varying degrees of the metaverse available for years, and I think Facebook's attempt to make the metaverse some version of Ready Player One, right? And I do think eventually we will get to that. By the way, it ain't this year. It ain't for 5 years. I mean, it's probably ways off. We don't have the technology for it yet, but yeah, I mean, the metaverse is not virtual reality. It is where reality and virtual reality meet. Now, if within the next 10 years we are able to do that with some goggles, that would be awesome. This year, I think it's going to be more about augmented reality than virtual reality. And I think if you're looking for a stock to play on that, it's probably Snapchat. But yeah, they've perverted the definition of metaverse and to their own benefit. And yeah, I think probably Coinbase is right with their assessment that they're going to have to walk that back.
Yeah, the whole idea of the metaverse needing goggles. I mean, first of all, for the metaverse to really work out, to have this idea of we can all meet in a room no matter where we are in the world, and it's just like I'm sitting in the same room with you, talking with you. That's great and all, but you have to get to truly have that experience. You're going to have VR goggles on everyone's head, and it's going to have to be as accessible as a PC or a mobile phone. And right now, I can at least say everyone here in this room has a mobile phone, since we're here on Twitter Spaces. But yeah, it's going to have that level of access. And we're not there. We don't have that level of access to goggles. And I also think one of the things that's really stopped virtual reality from being a thing, I think we've been told time and time again that VR is about to be a thing, is you still look absolutely goofy wearing it from the outside. And I don't know, they're going to have to work on that. There's something to make this cooler. I don't know how. Because you have to still wear goggles on your head that are kind of all encompassing. But yeah, it's kind of like, I always say the same reason the Segway never became as big as that inventor wanted it to be. He said like cities would be built around it because you look like an absolute tool whenever you're driving one.
You guys have seen the Ray-Bans though, right? Like the smart glasses that are Wayfarers by Ray-Bans, and they don't look bad at all. It looks like the regular.
But that's not AR, is it? It's certainly not.
No, but I wonder if they could like incorporate it. But I guess you would need to block out the reason why it looks so silly, like the VR glasses, because they try to block out like any peripherals. But then you get the other hand where they're trying to introduce contacts that are like able to have like VR, AR meta capabilities, and then you put these contacts on, and then don't we feel like that's too extreme and too invasive? So where's the middle ground here?
Well, that's why I think AR is close. I mean, AR is closer than VR. So I have actually got a pair of those Ray-Bans for Christmas.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, it's very early technology. The camera is only 5 megapixels, right? And so that's, it's like 10-year-old camera quality, right? So, I mean, we're still, that whole space is still spreading.
Hello, everybody.
You can take videos, you can take pictures. What's that?
Ryan, go ahead.
Yeah, but, it's I think I would describe it as an extension of your cell phone currently, the way cell phones today operate. Their cameras, their video cameras, and they take pictures. So it's an extension of that, and it can't do much more than that yet. And I want to emphasize yet because I really think that augmented reality could easily be brought to the market through something like this. And they probably have a follow up to that. In the pipeline somewhere once everybody's comfortable walking around in Ray-Bans.
I remember a couple of years ago, Google had their Google Glass or their Google Glasses, and I believe recently Google just came out and said that they're going to be incorporating AR tech into their new version of Google Glasses.
I
remember that.
Yeah, people would be sitting down at restaurant tables, and then they'd have the Google Glasses on it, and it looked like clear, like lab glasses. And I was like, You can't be freaking serious sitting here with your your clear Google glasses. Like, you don't look cool, guys.
I think they were just too early. So you and I might not want to wear that because we think that looks goofy as hell, right? But I guarantee you there's some 16 or 17-year-old out there who would be like, hell yeah, let me put those on. So I mean that's that's the generation that'll be flying around in the metaverse. It's not going to be us, unfortunately, but that's why
we'll be walking around with our walkers and tennis balls
and our Ray-Bans.
That's right, and our Ray-Bans. Yep.
Our 5 megapixel Ray-Bans, right?
The new Google glasses do look a little bit more chic than the old lab glasses you're talking about, Christine.
I'm gonna look it up. I also posted up on the Nest. Ryan, I don't know if this was the girl that we were talking about, but Hester Pierce, she had posted, sad to see the FDIC chairman McWilliams announce her resignation 2 days ago. She had a clear understanding of the need to regulate with an appreciation for the role of innovation that can play improving in our lives. I guess talking about crypto.
That's a different person. The one I'm thinking is a congressperson. They're not a regulator. They're in Congress. Yeah.
I will try to look for that one and the Google Glasses now.
Yeah, but that is interesting. What was her name? I'm gonna look that up. What was her name?
It just says McWilliams announces her.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, interesting talk about the Google Glass. You know, AR as opposed to VR. I'm kind of with Ryan that I think AR will be the next bridge to get to VR. But having little, heads-up displays on your glasses or certainly in your contacts, that's a new level of like invasion that maybe, is there like driving regulations? Is that safe to wear, AR glasses while you're driving, that sort of thing? So there's all kinds of things to think about there. But I think it'd be cool.
20 years, you won't have to drive anymore. You're just going to get in the car and it's going to take you wherever you want to go.
You are right. You are absolutely correct.
You guys remember Minority Report, right?
Oh, yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah, they said that movie was made with top 10 scientists of the world, like predicting the future. So I always reference back to Minority Report because every year I feel like we get closer to that. And I do imagine that our vehicles would be autonomous like that, where you just get in, like Tom Cruise would just get in and take them everywhere. And the bad part of that is if you were trying to, not saying you would try to run away from authority or anything, but if you were, it would just stop automatically. And there is no more car chases to watch on TV because it would just stop.
I can't hack into the system to make myself run from the authorities.
It's gonna be like Demolition Man. You're gonna have to go get yourself an old Oldsmobile 442 if you want to drive it yourself.
All right, to the moon, Oldsmobile to the moon right now. You better stock up so that you can be prepared for the future to do some Mad Max kind of stuff to get away. But yeah, I'm interested. I've actually got an eye doctor appointment later today. Maybe I can see if he can fit me in with some VR or some AR contacts that you guys keep on talking about. It'd be fun. That'd be fun. All right, the next one as far as predictions, and I think this is a shoe-in. More nations adopt Bitcoin. Okay, we've seen it with El Salvador. We've seen some other countries also, mainly in South America, doing kind of similar kind of moves. Is that going to be more commonplace that you have some countries like China saying they want a distance and other countries saying bring it on?
I missed that Google Glasses.
You missed what?
I said I missed it because I was looking for Google Glasses that I did put up top, but
I did see up top, and that picture is the problem for why Google Glass wasn't popular.
Scrupula said it's chic.
I don't know Scrupula's style. I know Scrupula as wearing an Ape Kids Club, yellow.
Hey, I said it was chic compared to the safety goggles.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, all relative.
That's right. It's the little thing that's like coming around the eye. There's some, and I know that's probably like what you really have to have. That's like the innards of it. But it seems like, Ray-Ban, those are it's like a thicker glasses, and therefore they can hide a little bit more inside the thicker glasses. And then Google Glass chose to go with like almost a frameless, at least on the bottom, and it just makes it to where it's not very aesthetically pleasing. Google, holler at me. I'll help you make these better looking. Which I don't think they will do to do that, but they should. I could make these things look good.
I put the Ray-Bans up there for anybody that has no idea what we're talking about. But what's crazy about the Ray-Ban one, like I think when you connect it, it connects with Meta, which is Facebook. Like I wonder what they're going to do with Ray-Ban and Meta.
Yeah, so there's an app you have to use. It's called Facebook View. Okay, and that's the app you use, and it's essentially it's almost like a cloud drive, right? And so let me drop this on you real quick. The problem with having a pair of glasses that need a lot of computing power is that you only have so much room where you're going to be walking around with these big goggles like no one wants to wear, right? But Once Elon has established Starlink across the globe, you will be able to use cloud computing power to power your glasses while you're walking around. So you won't need an onboard, microchip to process a lot of the things that are currently having to be processed in those glasses. So once broadband is widely available, the potential computing power is magnified exponentially, and you'll be able to do a lot with a very small piece of technology. So that's when, in my opinion, the Google glasses will be able to be cooler and smaller.
It sounds like you're in the same boat as me, Ryan, where once Starlink comes out and they do an IPO, we're going all in.
Absolutely.
Somebody messaged me from the chat, and he said to look up focal smart glasses by North, and I posted it up on the chat.
See those this is more of the idea of what I was talking about. If you pick a thicker glasses, then the earpieces there's a lot more you can hide in there. And at least from this view, just on the picture that's on the link that you pinned up there, that's a little bit more pleasing to the eye, I feel like.
Yeah, it says AR.
I don't know. I want to try some of these. I'm definitely interested in trying some AR glasses to see how they work. And like the ones that Ryan got, to me, like Snapchat came out with some glasses, I don't know, a year or two ago that was something similar, where basically anything you're looking at, you could take a picture of, or maybe even live stream. And I'm sure that's what you can do with the Ray-Bans. But if we're going to go in with AR, probably going to have that next level of computing power, and you're going to need some space to do it. And what Ryan said, right, whenever finally we can use cloud computing power, that probably just makes it to where things can reach a critical mass. Because I'm telling you, we're not going to wear something that makes us look silly. We're all too vain for that. Maybe this is me.
But like Ryan said, it might be generational, and we
Yeah.
feel that. But these kids are going to be making all these videos that normalize wearing VR.
That's true. There's been trends that I would say would never ever be a trend, and they've ended up being a trend because cooler people than me wear them. Christine, are you ready for, like, you're a tattoo artist? Are you ready to have your work, or maybe you could tell me you would never do this, where you wear some AR glasses and it like helps you somehow, where like you can see an outline of what you're trying to do?
So sorry, my dog's crazy. I feel like I'm ready in the fact that I was interested in the Ray-Ban glasses because I'm like, oh, so that would provide like point of view streaming, or even like I could upload the video, and people are always interested in something like that when I'm like creating artwork, like painting or whatever, instead of like putting up like the camera or your phone and having it like positioned, whatever. Like point of view is always pretty cool. And then it being even go further, the technology that I was hearing is that as far as contacts and even glasses go, they're going to have it where it fixes this is kind of sad for optometrists, but they said that it's going to correct your vision, like whatever you need, it's going to do it like as needed. So you don't need to go get your checkups anymore because your contact lenses or your smart glasses will correct the vision for you.
That's insane. I've got some bad eyes on me, and I look forward to that for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that would be great. Oh, are you a contacts wearer as well?
I would want to wear contacts, but it dries out my eyes, so I wear glasses. But the idea of it correcting itself, like as needed, like imagine like for nighttime, when you're driving or even when you're reading or whatever, and it just automatically corrects itself because it's smart glasses or smart contacts, is insane.
Man, that's awesome. Maybe it could even turn into like the night view where you could see things better automatically.
We could hack it too, and then be able to do more stuff.
Well, I'm always thinking of like you've seen the Terminator before, where like Arnold Schwarzenegger like looks around and it shows it shows like a red kind of view, and the people that he's looking at, he sees their name already, and he knows all these things about them. That's kind of the way I view VR.
They did say that, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with like Black Mirror, the show, but they did say something of that sort, that it would be in the future where you could look at someone using AR or these smart glasses, and you could kind of see not their social credit score, but you could kind of see like who they are social media wise, and like some basic knowledge about them, which is kind of crazy.
Look, I need it just for names. I'm going to be honest. I'm the kind of guy, Christine, if I ever meet you in person and we have a big 30-minute conversation, and then we meet each other again a month later, and I just say, hey, I'm Steven. I'm the voice of DeFi. And you're like, I know, we already met each other. I'm the guy that I cannot remember faces and names. I'm just awful at it. But if I had these glasses, because sometimes I just need just a little hint, just a little.
Siri is gonna like tell you in your earbud, like, you've met this person last month at the dinner.
That's exactly right. And I would pay a lot for that because I ended up looking silly sometimes. They were like, yeah, we went to high school together or something like that. And I'm like, I'm sorry. And I end up just looking really foolish. So yeah, I'm looking forward to these things because I've got a problem where I can't quite remember people's faces and names. And once I get that little nudge from Siri, I would probably remember it because then once the person reminds me that I already know them, I get the, slap the forehead. Oh yeah. And then I just want to leave. I just want to crawl into a hole because I forgot who they are. So are you one of those people that can remember who?
No, I'm exactly the same way you are, but I've come up with this strategy that when I'm around people and they're like looking at me and I'll just be like, hey, and then I don't say anything else and they're like, hey, and if I've met them before, they're like, how are you? I haven't seen you since, or they'll be like, hey, my name is, and I'm like, oh, okay, my name's Christine. Just leave it at hello or hey, and then they kind of, I leave it up to them, whether I know them or not.
I've done that before, okay? And it'll be like a party situation where a third person will come into the conversation that is somebody that I clearly know, but they don't. And now I have to introduce unnamed person to person that I know.
Oh, no. Well, yes, I've been in that situation before too. And then that's just always awkward. That's when you say you have to use the restroom and to excuse you.
Ah, yes. You claim diarrhea. Or maybe that's too strong. You're just going to pee, but I'm looking to really run out of there, obviously. To really get, but yeah. Yeah, that would be that would actually maybe scare people, and maybe I wouldn't have to worry about knowing their name or not. But I appreciate everyone being here today because we've talked about all these 2022 predictions, which have been fun. But another prediction I'll make in this next year is Traderverse will launch. Okay, you've heard us talking for the last several weeks as we've done these alpha hours spaces, and they've been great. I've really enjoyed speaking with Christine on here and all of you guys and meeting some of you. And that's been great. But we're going to be able to take it to the next level in 2022 as Traderverse launches, where we'll be able to have a streaming within the platform. We'll be able to have, your own almost like Substack, like blog, charting, Tradion, which will be like a trading assistant. All of this will be available in Traderverse, and that's going to come out in 2022. So I am pumped for that because that will really take my own trading probably to the next level. And I may need that. If it's a bear market or sideways market, sometimes you need to be a little more, I'm trying to say, selective with your trades. And I don't know that I have the smarts to do that. That's why I always say not financial advice with me, because I'm just an idiot behind a mic. But I've learned to listen to smart people like Christine to help me out. And that's what Traderverse can help you, is to try to find kind of your colony, find your people, and then you can find out who to listen to be able to help you do a little bit of your own research.
I do double down on your prediction that Traderverse will launch and it will be amazing for 2022.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. And we'll continue to have these alpha hour spaces and continue to be able to talk about great projects, great stocks, and great NFTs. So make sure you stick around with us at 17:30 UTC every day, Monday through Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday we may be over at the Discord, pending on that. Let me see what we're going to do on this Thursday and Friday. But Monday through Wednesday, Christine and I will be in here discussing things like today when we did the predictions for 2022 and beyond. But tomorrow is NFT Tuesdays, and almost everything we discuss tomorrow will have to do with NFTs. So for me, I'm Steven, the voice of DeFi. With me is Christine Barnum. She is the co-founder of the OTC Club. She's here with me as well. So I really appreciate all of you guys giving your input today. I'll see you tomorrow. I love all of you. Peace.